Kavon here with a video writing a script that is inspired by this Airtable community post. Brandon here wants to have an automation that will fill in a single select field with a random choice when a record is created. So let's go ahead and do that. Here's a base, default fields, it's got a single select here. And I'm going to go ahead and start this in scripting app, not an automation script, just because I think it's easier to start off scripts in scripting app. Just easier to see what's going on, see what you're doing. Okay. First thing I usually do is set up variables for my tables and fields. So let's do that. My table is base.getTable. Table1, and my field is going to be table get field, and the name of that is my status field. Okay, and then we can see what the choices are for that single select field. If we go to the API reference in scripting, go to the cell values and field options, and then we can find the single select field here. We can see here, if we go down to the field options, we can see that the field options is going to have a choices that has an array of choices. So let's go get that. So choices is field.options.choices. And let's do console log to see what those choices are. And run. There we go. Our choices, we see it's an array that has 3 items in it, and each one has an ID name and a color, just like what the documentation said. Now let's pick a random one of those. To get a random item from an array, the easiest thing to do that is generate a random number for the index. And over here, we can see that here, JavaScript has a math.random function. And if we want to get a random integer, we can do something like this. So we have a random integer between 0 and 9. We'd put this with 10. If we wanted to have a larger number, we'd put a larger number there. So let's just copy this. And const random index is going to be this. But instead of from up to 9, we want it based on the length of our choices. So let's choose this choices.length. And then let's do a console log so we can know for sure what that actual index is. So let's run. Our index was 1. We do it again, it's 2, it's 0, 1. Okay, so we've got a nice random index. And now we can do random choice is going to be choices with our random index. Do console log random choice. Let's see, so here's our random choice. This time it was done. Run it again. This time it's to do. Looks good. Okay, so we've got a random choice, but now we need to update the record with that. So in order to do that, we need to get that record. Because I'm currently in scripting app, I'm going to use input. Oh, forgot my equal sign. But record async. Pick a record from the table. And then let's update that record. Do that with await table.update record async record, and then I have an object that's going to say field.name, and I'm going to update it with my random choice. This has a squiggly red underline here. That's because input record async can return a null value if the person doesn't actually pick it. I'm not going to worry about that right now. So let's run this. Oh, invalid arguments, record or record ID. So let's go back to the code, and what did I forget when I was typing? Let's see, it says line 15, table update record. Oh, it's what happened here is I forgot to put the await here. I didn't actually wait until I get that record value back. Let's put that in and run it again. No errors, yay. Okay, there it is. It's to do. Run it again, pick a different one, get a different random one. Awesome. So now that it works in scripting app, let's copy this and let's recreate this as an automation. So let's create a custom automation. It's going to trigger when a record is created in our table, and we will run a script, and I'm going to paste in that script. Now this script's not going to work properly because here I use input create record. That doesn't work in an automation script, so I need another way of identifying the record, and I do that with an input variable. So record ID is going to be my input variable, and the value is going to be from the triggering record, the Airtable record ID. Insert. And then I'm going to say const input config is assigned input.config, and then const record ID is assigned input config and record ID, where this record ID here matches the name of the variable here. And then I'm going to this here, oops, and don't need that there. Okay, because when you're updating, you can either put in the record object or you can use just the record ID. So let's finish that, and let's shrink this down, and let's actually blank these out so we can see what's going on when we do the test. So let's test this action. It's going to test 2 steps. That's nice. We have to. This is it. The automation just asking me to pick a record to run it on. And there we go. Looks like it's good. So let's go ahead and turn this automation on. And then we can see here, let's create a new record. And we have a new random single select film. There we go.